Hey guys, we're ready for Expendables 2. Like I just told you, for them it's tomorrow, for you just a few minutes ago, Expendables 2. Arnold and Bruce get a bigger role. You got Chuck Norris, Jean-Claude Van Damme. You got Liam, I didn't mention this, Liam Hemsworth, that's Chris Hemsworth's brother, in there. And yeah, just what do you think about that? Does that get you pumped up already?
I mean, normally I don't care about actors, but those are some actors I actually recognize.
Exactly. Yeah. Come on. Like Chris Stratham or whatever his name was, or Dolph Lundgren. Those are the ones you've heard of, but you're like, but I just named you some big listers. Even Jean-Claude Van Damme, he hasn't done that much in ages. But Bloodsport, Street Fighter. Actually, what else has he done? But but at least you recognize the name, right?
Yeah, it's just like, oh hey, that sounds vaguely familiar.
Yep. Well, originally he was supposed to do Gunner instead of Dolph, but then he refused. He regretted, so he got a role that was more up his alley in this one. But you want to know the funny joke?
What?
Okay, he's the bad guy. You know he's going to die. But the way it goes is that he basically said, hey, if I come back, I want to play my twin brother. Which is stuff he's done, actually. He's actually done that. He doesn't, but I would love to see that.
That would be pretty awesome.
So, we'll see you guys on the other end. Hey guys, we just got done watching Expendables 2. Better than the first one.
Definitely.
9 out of 10. Not a perfect 10, not a perfect 10.
Mm-hmm.
But it won constant action. A little bit of slow parts, but mostly goes through the action. Not as much deconstruction, but you didn't really need it.
Yeah.
When you have these big name stars, and they were great. The only other downside is that it focused more on Barney and the female character Maggie. We'll get to her in a moment. And a little bit of Christmas, Chris Statham's character. But other than that, the others, and a little bit was Gunner, but here and there. But Jet Li's character, gone within the first little bit. And then the others are just there. You don't really get much with them. I mean, we didn't get much of them last time either, but it still felt like they kind of were just left aside a little. But when you got so many characters already as it is, you know what I mean?
You only have a limited amount of screen time for them.
Exactly. And, well, let's just talk about, first off, Maggie. Great. One of the best female characters, action characters we've seen show up. She hasn't done much, the actress, which is a shame because she was great. Believe it or not, it was supposed to be Gina Carano, but that would have been awesome. But this actress did a very good job too. She was both sexy, but competent, and badass. You know what I mean? And yeah, they would make jokes like they thought, oh, we have to be a babysitter her, and she said, well, I saved the babysitter's life. She was just great, funny, snarky, able to keep up, didn't feel like a load at all, and she contributed.
Yeah, it's just like she was behind the scenes getting them intelligence. Hey, here's some stuff about the bomb's just about to explode in this amount of time. This is exactly how long you have to get out of there.
Yep, and then of course, give me that gun, bang, 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 bang as well. And not only that though, but even when Barney told her to stay behind, it's more because if he comes out, kill him. You know what I mean? Now, let's talk about the villain. John by Jean-Claude Jean Vilain. First of all, that name, Villain.
Yeah, that's a little on the nose.
But, okay, he was both better and yet inferior to the last movie's villains.
I feel like he had a lot more charisma, but not as much depth.
Exactly. We don't even see much of him except when he kills Billy, we'll get to him, and near the end. Other than that, though, like in between, we hardly see him. When we do, we're feeling, he got the plutonium, and then he blows up the place. But then you see him at the end, and then it's finally like we get more personality. That's the only time he ever talked. And we didn't, even his subordinate, his second in command, was nothing like the dictator. He was pretty much Ben Stiller, the way he looked with his mustache and everything. It wasn't, obviously, but he looked like him. And it just felt like it was missing something. And yet, it had a lot. That's what, it just tears me up. Because I'm not saying it's completely better, he's completely better than the first film's villains. But there was just something about Eric Roberts and the dictator that also worked. But now let's talk about Billy, done by Liam Hemsworth, Chris Hemsworth's older brother. I was wrong when I said younger brother. And talk about what was the shirt they were painting? A mauve shirt?
Mauve shirt. It's from TV tropes.
Yep.
It's basically a red shirt, but they get more character development, so
And
losing
boy
it hurts
howdy.
more.
And boy howdy did we, because when we were first introduced him, he saves Barney and Christmas's necks. And shows that he's a very good, guy. And basically they're saying like, the kid's good, really like him. But then he's like, this isn't working out for me. And they're all like, hey, that's cool. I mean, they do kind of hammer it in, but even, that, he's gonna die. But at the same time, you don't want him to die because he's just so charismatic. He's just so nice. He has a girlfriend. Once you heard that, dead.
It's just, oh boy.
Yeah. I mean, at least with Statham's character, she cheats on him. It's not like it's a guaranteed, death warrant on him.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't like that they took that from the first film and ratcheted it up that she cheats on him a lot. I'm like, she did it once. Do we need to make that a character trait for her?
Yeah, I think that shows up a bit too much.
I mean, well, they more make fun about it, but still. And then they kind of stop talking about her. But yeah, Billy, his death, it gets to you. Because they keep on building up like, oh, he's not going to die. He's not going to die. And then he dies. And you're like, oh, no. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And again, it leads to the cliche of the bad guy kills him off. And that gets everyone enraged. They want to take him down.
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually worked here, actually, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, we got the three big leagues. Chuck Norris. We had Jean-Claude Van Damme, we already mentioned him, but yeah, Arnold and Bruce Willis. Mm-hmm. They stole the show every time they were there, weren't they? Right? I mean, especially Chuck Norris. One, the fact they keep on giving him the good, the bad, and the ugly,
Yeah, it's just like...
Yep, and then of course they give a Chuck factor, like, I heard that you were bitten by a king cobra. Yeah, and after 5 days of agonizing pain, the cobra died.
Yeah, it felt like I was on 2005 internet memes again.
I know, but again, he did such a great job. Arnold, I mean, the fact that we're introduced to Arnold right in the beginning, I didn't expect that, did you? It was like, what the heck? And then he shows up, helps them out. Bruce Willis, he's there because they actually tie up loose ends. For example, Eric Roberts' character was actually CIA. They never made that clear in the first one. And they kind of cleared that up here. And I'm like, okay. And again, just so much about it. This one, like I said, 9 out of 10. It is better than the first one. It did so much good. A lot more action. Not as much in the dark. That was one thing I didn't complain about last time. There was a lot of issues with it being in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, it is a lot harder to track stuff that's going on if the lighting isn't too good, unless you're doing it for like more of a stylistic choice.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was really the case there.
Yeah, but here it was all in daylight. Of course, that meant you could see the blood more, which made it a bit more, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and also I gotta say, the town full of women who don't know how to shoot worth a darn, but the fact they were all ready to, like, shoot them still. And I gotta say, I do love Gunner saying, Terry Crews' character saying, hey, one of you is bound to get, you guys are bound to get lucky here. And what did you say? Reading the room, right?
Read the room, man.
But again, so much of it was just good. It was just constantly going. And now granted, the plot is very stock. Not as stock as the first movie, but it's very 80s. Oh, these guys are trying to get all this plutonium to build bombs and everything, or sell them off. I mean, well, it's more to sell them off because Jean's character says, we're going to be rich, boys. So I'm like, oh, they're going to sell it. But again, so much of it is stock, but it's more of a setup to give us what we want. Now, I am at least aware while the third one is going, I want to make this clear, we're not going to do a retrospective final video. We really don't need to, really, because the next movie is just the third movie. It's not like the final movie. So there's not really a need to do it. We're just focusing on what is currently a trilogy, but it's going to get more down the line, hopefully. So, yeah, we'll be going on to 3 next. I mean, any final words you want to give about this?
Not really. I think you've basically said everything I wanted to say.
Okay, we'll see you guys on the other side.